One of the more surprising revelations during the War Arc was that Edo Tensei Minato had access to KCM, an extremely powerful version of the Kyuubi chakra, which implies that Minato had control over the Nine Tails, something that Naruto had to sweat a lot to attain, and yet Minato was dead, and he was only the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails for a couple of minutes before he died. So how come did he learn KCM 2?
Whoa, look at him!
Naruto took years upon years to do so. I mean, he was 16 when he learned KCM. It wasn't something he managed to learn so quick. Minato only had, 5 minutes at most after he sealed the Nine Tails within himself and then he died. Some people say, well, it's because he's Minato, therefore he can do whatever he wants just because he is that talented. But this is not the most interesting explanation, no. There's a more interesting way to look at how he learned it. The average Edo Tensei in the War Arc said that, well, nothing really has happened since I died. It's as though no time passed at all. Nagato, when he sees KCM 1 Naruto, he says, oh, you're very different, Naruto, but for me it's as though no time has passed, confirming that Nagato didn't feel any time passing between his death and when he was brought back via Edo Tensei. Now, we don't know if Nagato went to the Pure Lands, which is heaven in the Naruto world, or if he stayed in Limbo, or if he went to hell. But the thing is that Edo Tenseis usually don't feel the passage of time when they're brought back, even if they died decades ago. And we also know that in order for you to master KCM, you have to first fight against the Nine Tails, subdue it enough so that you can pull the chakra out and do that tug of war, draining the Nine Tails' chakra into your own body so you can use KCM. It's not an easy process. You have to quite literally fight against the Nine Tails within your own Kyuubi realm, which is something Naruto did. But did Minato do that before he died in those 5 minutes, or did he do that after he was brought back via Edo Tensei? Well, with the Minato spin-off, we learned that he did have some experience fighting against the Nine Tails within the Kurama realm already, but that was inside of Kushina's consciousness and not his own. He was brought back in the Leaf Village by Orochimaru, and then they traveled all the way to the battlefield of the Fourth Great Ninja War. He had some time in there. It wasn't that much, but still it was something. But no, it didn't happen in there either. Now, Minato is a very different Edo Tensei from the norm. First, because he was brought back with the Nine Tails inside of him, and this is not usual at all. When a Jinchuriki dies with a tail beast inside him or her, usually the person is going to die, but the chakra of the tail beast will disperse around the world and coalesce back into the form of the creature years later. The difference with Minato is that he sealed the Nine Tails within himself before he died with a powerful sealing jutsu, and a sealing jutsu that would bind their souls for eternity, or at least up until the sealing was broken. When Naruto was born and the Nine Tails attacked the village coming out of Kushina, Minato used the Reaper Death Seal to split the Nine Tails in half, and then he sealed the Yang half into Naruto and the Yin half in himself. The Yang half that he sealed in Naruto was the more pleasant half of the Nine Tails. The Yin half is definitely the most unpleasant part. It's pretty much Dark Kurama that's sealed inside of Minato. This is very much shown in the War Arc when Naruto and Minato use their KCM and their Kurama avatars. Naruto's chakra in the KCM mode is very bright yellow. Minato's chakra is almost orange and much darker. In the anime, he has those dark wisps as well, so it's definitely a different type of Kyuubi that's inside of them. Hiruzen tells Orochimaru when he uses the jutsu against him, our souls will be in a constant state of fighting against each other forever. They'll hate each other and there'll never be any peace inside the belly of the Reaper. Minato, unlike the other Edo Tenseis, would have experienced things while he was dead. The constant fight against the Nine Tails, the creature he sealed, which is a pretty good opportunity for him to learn how to extract the Nine Tails' chakra, or at least how to fight against it when he is brought back via Edo Tensei and master KCM 1. But the thing is, KCM 2 is different. You cannot just pull the Nine Tails' chakra against the creature's will in order to attain it. You must befriend the beast. Now, fighting a gruesome, hatred-filled battle for eternity doesn't really seem the thing that will make you befriend the Nine Tails, much in the contrary. When Minato first shows up, he very much resembles KCM 1 and not KCM 2, and this is what we see here. His chakra mantle is almost exactly the same as Naruto's KCM 1. It has the exact same patterns, unlike KCM 2 Naruto, which is very different. But then after after they touch fists, and Dark Kurama is quote-unquote convinced and now working for Minato, his KCM mantle doesn't change. However, he is able to access the Kurama avatar, something that Naruto only ever does after achieving KCM 2 and befriending the Nine Tails. So even though Minato's base mantle doesn't really change in appearance, the very first thing he does after saving the Alliance and re-engaging Jubito is to activate Kurama Avatar mode. He could probably have done that sooner if he had the ability to. It would have been useful against Jubito. Now, Naruto also only used this mode against Jubito after they escaped the barrier. However, that was because Naruto didn't have chakra. He wasn't terribly experienced with the Kurama Avatar, and he was pretty much using KCM 1.5 during the Jubito fight anyway to save some chakra. But then he uses the KCM 2 Kurama Avatar after he sees they have a chance to beat Jubito. And then now that Minato is capable of doing so as well, they fuse their Rasengan and attack Jubito with it. With that, we can assume Minato learned KCM 2 in the middle of the battle, as he wasn't using it before they escaped the barrier, and all of a sudden he starts to use the Kurama Avatar. So when and how did it happen exactly? The first thing the Nine Tails inside of Minato tells him is that he's grown into quite a son, right, Minato? It's no wonder he managed to sweet talk my other half. And this happens after Naruto nails Jubito with a Sage Mode Rasengan. Now this conversation implies that they had some type of camaraderie built here, because before this, and now with the Minato one-shot, it's even more clear that the Nine Tails absolutely despised Minato. But in here, sure, the Nine Tails seems very menacing when she says that, but it's still in a much lighter tone. Also, when the Nine Tails says, it's no wonder he managed to sweet talk my other half, it implies that Minato hasn't managed to sweet talk his half. But the battle inside the Reaper's Valley probably made them at least grow a bit closer to each other. Even though this may look strange, they were the only company each other had. They were fighting forever. But Minato's also a pretty sweet guy. He's not the guy that was gonna hold a grudge. But then in the next chapter, when Minato and the Nine Tails continue their conversation, the Nine Tails says, yo, you intended the brat to clean up the mess, right? That's why you sealed my good half inside of him and the leftover inside of you. And then the Nine Tails is actually being pretty nice to Minato all of a sudden. She says, well, you don't have to regret things here. Kushina dying wasn't your fault, and making your son the Jinchuriki wasn't a bad idea either, because he's gonna change the world. This is the first conversation we see Minato having with the Nine Tails, and because we didn't see the Nine Tails inside of Minato before, it's implied it's the first time at least after Minato was brought back with Edo Tensei. And bear in mind, this half of the Nine Tails that's inside of Minato will eventually be transferred over to Naruto when Madara removes Nine Tails from him. And there's a strange thing about this. The Nine Tails talks to Naruto as though they've known each other. In the Sasuke fight, Dark Kurama sees memories and remembers things that happened with Naruto that the Yang Nine Tails saw. It wasn't technically the same being. I mean, it's the Nine Tails, but it's the other half, and it shouldn't have those memories. So how come? Do they have like a mental link and they just know what happened to the other? But no, this is not the case, because when Minato uses KCM for the first time and Naruto sees it, the Nine Tails inside of Naruto seems very surprised at it. And if they had a mental connection, then the Nine Tails in Naruto wouldn't be surprised, because, oh yeah, I know what's going on. Minato mastered KCM because I can see through my other half as well. The most likely scenario is that the memories of both Nine Tails transfer to each other when they combine their fists just before Minato and Naruto combine their chakra to teleport everybody outside of the Six Crimson Ray formation before Jubito blew up the entire alliance. We see that the Nine Tails are touching their hands with Naruto and Minato, combining their chakras, and there's a very clear panel of their chakras mixing up together. So it's very safe to assume that when they did that, their memories also transferred over to each other and they kinda became one. It's what's even in the panel here. They are fusing together. Of course, they're not together in a physical sense, but in a metaphorical sense, they are. This is what allows them to save the entire alliance with the Flying Thunder God, and it's also what transfers the memory of the Nine Tails in Naruto to the Nine Tails in Minato. However, the Dark Kurama inside of Minato decided to help out before they touched fists, because touching fist was already an action helping the alliance, Naruto and Minato. So did they befriend each other inside the belly of the Reaper? I don't think so. I think they built this weird bond between two people or beings that are in constant war against each other, but in a sense respect each other. But then when it got to the War Arc and the Dark Kurama inside of Minato saw everything that was going on, everyone was going to either die or be sucked into the infinite Tsukiyomi. And also after seeing Naruto's display against Jubito and knowing that Naruto actually befriended her other half, this is what probably convinced Dark Kurama to share its chakra willingly with Minato and allow him to use KCM2 and the Kurama avatar. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and thank you so much for watching.